Hello, BAME Farm fans. Look at this, it's a fun day. We're tossing money on the ground. It's a wee bit later than I would have liked, but during planting I was just focused on getting seed in the ground, and that didn't rain, so I wasn't too quick about getting fertilizer on, because I don't know if it's going to do anything. And I know I got some plants out there finally. This will be a fun spraying and spreading video. I've never been on the receiving end of a fertilizer delivery like this. Yep, turn on the pump on the transmission. You can kind of hear it whirring away. I understand there's been some camera troubles, that the volume goes all over the place. I don't wonder if the technology inside that's supposed to auto deal with sound, you know, to adjust for noise and whatever. Well, there's some crusties. It's probably been a while. I bet they're not spreading much fertilizer except for on hay right now, but I'm crazy enough. It worked last year. Hopefully we get a rain and it'll give a quick boost to the beans. Whenever we do get a rain, and catch them up. You can tell where they had water, they're growing great. Where they haven't had water, it looks like they're growing underneath a shade tree. So hopefully the next rain, dump them some fertilizer and they will just take off. Had them delivered because we couldn't get all the fertilizer in one buggy, and it was, by the time I killed the time to run down and get the buggy myself, the delivery was cheaper than my time, surprisingly. Well, that was quick. And by the time feed and everything, all the chores were done this morning, they already were here and delivered, and it would have taken me, unfortunately, this place is at the other end of our county, but they're definitely competitive on price. That's why we go there. And yeah, it just saved me 2 hours. So we're out here spraying beans now. We're enjoying our tram lines real nicely, running over as few beans as possible. We've set up many tractors to match this, the TW, the 1086, 6610. You know, all could potentially spray or plant beans. You know, if one tractor breaks down, we pick up another, keep going and lick our wounds in the winter because we got too much stuff to do in between rain showers. This year we're actually a little low on rain. It is fantastic. Now we're going to try to look behind us at the sprayer. We've got it set up so we get on every other sprayer pass that is most convenient. Now I'm not spraying a full boom. If you can see that hose flopping around out there, I disconnected it. And we're 2 nozzles short on each side because we spray 36 feet. That works great for corn. That's 3 planter passes of corn. But the bean planter is 15 feet, so we got to work it down so we're only spraying 30 feet. And when we get to the end, we'll see I can count. Like I'm on a 4 now, that's a set of 6, which is actually 2 3s. We can tell Dad planted because there's an extra gap over there between those sets of 3. However, that was most convenient for spreading fertilizer yesterday, because they sent us the wrong spreader, and the spreader they sent was not straddling the sets of 4, but it would work for the set of 3. It was a narrow track spreader, which is great for narrow corn, or 30-inch corn or whatever, but doesn't do anything for how we plant beans. I didn't fertilize during season, or during planting, because I was just trying to get seed in the ground and get on with hay. Okay, let's octopus time. Flop that. Good thing we got a lot of room down here to turn around. We count 6, 4, 6, 4, and if I turn just right, I don't have to count. Like, I've gotten it down that I've done this enough, the number of turns of the wheel, that I'm ready and set to come back fairly easily without doing too much counting. But it helps when the weeds aren't too big. It's easier to count. Some years the beans are bigger because it's rained a bunch and it's, well, don't want to make ruts while spraying. So at that point, I gotta like pay more attention and slow down on the ends. spray at 40 pounds of pressure. And I forget what nozzles we have, but we're putting down 20 gallons per acre. That's putting down a little bit of water. A lot of folks don't put down that much. They're trying to cram it to 15 or under and cover more acres, but the more water you have, the bigger the droplets, the less drift. We're spraying a 1/4 ounce of chloramiron, that is for broadleaves. That is a dry, flowable pellet of sorts. And we're mostly fighting broadleaves. There was one lamb's quarter. There's a lot of field bindweed and common rag in this field. We're putting on a pint per acre of foamosapin. There's also a broadleaf killer. 8 ounces, or a half a pint, of clethodim, and that is for grasses. Mostly there's foxtail and maybe some barnyard grass, but those are still fairly small. Like, we can't see the weeds out here yet, but you gotta get them when they're small for the best kill. The weather is being optimally dry this year for that. Half a percent by volume of crop oil, concentrate. Usually it's 1% by volume, but the crop oil we're using this year, they claim it's extra concentrated, and so far it's been killing pretty well. The crop oil cuts the wax on the leaf to get the chemicals inside for absorption. Okay, octopus time. Flip the lever, turn. We don't quite have the luxury of an open field end, and I hate only spraying one headland pass, because sometimes it's easy to get the boom in the trees. And I want full coverage, so I make sure I get close enough to my previous pass. 6-4, 6-4, and here we go. Right down this one. Right down Broadway. No electronics to worry about, no spray monitor. We sprayed the same engine RPM and the same gear for the same speed. It's about 4.5 miles an hour. I know some of the new sprayers are real fancy like that, but this is effective. And it's most important to get a good kill. We also put in about a pint per acre of ammonium sulfate. It's a little bit of fertilizer makes the weeds want to absorb the spray. Now, this has been a quick overview of spraying. Hopefully the sound quality comes out okay, and the tractor wasn't too loud and you can hear my voice, or I will hate myself during editing. But this is a quick overview of spraying, and I very much hate making spray videos just because we'll say the exactness and attention to be paid so that nothing gets messed up. Well, hopefully next we'll be doing the fertilizer portion of this video. So we gotta hop off here and turn the floor of the spreader on, or the apron chain. This one doesn't have a pull route, so we're gonna have to do some creative driving in a perfect, let's say, zigzag pattern, because there won't be any, say, headlands to worry about. Since I can't turn off the gears, and for some reason, I wanted to line up with the chain down there. Something's a little wonky. That can't be good. So then we gotta check our gate opening. Let's see. Total density is like 71, almost 72 pounds. And we're trying to put on 300 pounds of this per acre. So we need probably 3 3/4. We definitely got that. So we're ready to fly. Let's see, while we're back here, we can kind of take a look and see our 3 rows fitting down the middle. We had some plugging issues, and this set of 4 is not a good set of 4. To point that out, these beans aren't too bad. They need some rain, but they came up evenly. The worst field of beans is the no-till beans, and they're absolutely horrendous. You can hardly tell there's beans out there. So we'll see how they do. It's going to be a big test. I guess you don't want to no-till when it's dry. That didn't conserve any moisture. So yes, yay tillage. Good to see the soil contact. Any little bit of rain doesn't run off. It's ready to go right in the ground that's been opened up nicely. And I'll continue to dislike no-till, even though I like the ability to save time on it in the spring. I will dislike that just about as much as I dislike John Deere. So enjoy that. This will be getting sprayed soon. Most of my weed problems are from when this was a hayfield. Just some dog bane mostly. Didn't have a whole lot of grass come back. Must have tilled that out pretty good. There's a little bit of grass trying to survive, but that looks like it's fescue or something. Yes, this was the field that was plowed. We had our plow day a couple years ago. Just like spraying, this is another fun task of follow the rows. We don't need a GPS. We already established that with the planter and the markers. It's just follow the leader. Put the plow mount up front there, right in that middle row on a set of 3. And if we can see underneath the spreader, I can keep driving straight while looking back. They run right underneath the wheels perfectly. It's a little windy. You might be able to see the beans being attacked by shrapnel back there. I just keep going down one of these sets of 3 every other set of beans. I'm not running very fast because I'm reducing the spread pattern to match like the width I want to drive. It's just measured out easier. I could run it full speed for the full 40-foot spread pattern, but then I got to do a little bit more math. Okay, that's a planter pass right there. And here's another one. Our set of 4 is really messed up. And we're going to head down right here. So we have a full planter pass just on our right side, because we started at that side of the field. We're working our way back and skip every other. Really, with all these skips, I could have done the set of 4 down the center of the planter. But Dad caught that eventually, that the one row was plugged up and not putting seed down. This field I sprayed a couple days ago, and we get instant gratification since we saw me spraying earlier in this video, which is actually earlier today, but in a different field. We can see the weeds dying and turning brown. Now this has been a couple days since I sprayed this one, and I'm pulling up to a nice starting spot to start spreading. This is mostly just to see how the weeds are dying, and they're dying rather nicely. You see a nice contrast of green soybeans and browning weeds. One thing about the broadleaf spray, it does burn the leaves a little bit. But beans like stress, right? We're low on moisture and a little bit of herbicide burn. They should bounce right back and do really well.